What is up, YouTube? It is Joker777 and got another review for you guys. And today I'm actually reviewing The Hobbit Part 2, The Desolation of Smaug. And did anyone do this, like, whenever you read the book, did you pronounce it Smaug or like Smaug or Smoog as some people are known to call it? So in the comment below, how did you pronounce it? I'm just kidding. Don't do that. So basically, The Hobbit Part 2 basically picks up right where we left off. Bilbo is traveling with these group of dwarves, who of course are led by Mr. Thorin Oakenshield, the badass of the group. They're basically trying to reclaim their kingdom from the dragon known as Smaug. And that's pretty much the main premise of the story. There are stuff that's kind of going on the side, but that's kind of like a lead up to the actual Lord of the Rings, especially, now that we know that Sauron is indeed the necromancer. And my overall feelings about the movie, I thought the movie was great. I thought it was better than the first one, actually. The first one, when I saw it, it was like, it was alright. It wasn't like, I think I was expecting a little bit more, and there's really no comparison. When you look at the Lord of the Rings versus the Hobbit series, the Lord of the Rings is better, leaps and bounds better than the Hobbit series. But I felt this one was a better, contribution to the series. Specifically because, like, the first one had kind of a problem with pacing. Some of the parts in the movie were kind of slow. This one was fast-paced all the way through the movie. There was always something going on. Probably one of my favorite sequences was the barrel sequence. Basically, after, like, when they escape the wood elves, they get into these barrels, they start floating along the river, and they start battling orcs along the way. This was one of the coolest sequences in the entire film. I thought it was great, including, I think it's Bomper. It's either Bomfer or Bomper. He just has a scene where he starts, where he's like rolling in this barrel from hilltop to hilltop, just crushing enemies as he goes. I thought it was great. I thought it was an awesome sequence within that sequence. Another cool thing, and this is like totally a nostalgia thing for me, is we get to see Legolas, or Legolas, however you want to pronounce it. Legolas was my favorite character out of the three between Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. Legolas was my favorite just because he's such a terror with that bow, man. And in this one, they kind of wanted to take him back. They kind of gave him like a little bit more of a close-up fighting action. He still did some awesome things with that bow and arrow, but They definitely want to change him up a little bit just for this movie. They gave him more of a more close-up combat battle kind of thing. The performances in this movie, once again, are just great. Sir Ian McKellen is great. Martin Freeman is great. Everyone's great. Orlando Bloom, once again, as Legolas, kills it again. Some people had a problem with Tariel. Evangeline Lilly. Some people had a problem with Evangeline Lilly. I think she did actually a pretty good job. I remember she played Kate on Lost. She played in that movie Real Steel, which it was alright. I mean, it wasn't anything special to write home about, but I think she did, a pretty solid job. I think she could pass for it. A lot of people are also upset about the split, where they split the movie. I think he split it in the right spot, really, because really there's only two things left for the third and final movie, and that is the battle between the people of Lake Town and Smaug, and the Battle of the Five. I can't remember what the exact title of the battle is called. It's been a while since I read the book. But there's basically like two more big battles coming up. And one of my friends actually, kind of asked me, he said, do you think they're really going to drag that out, these last few battles? And I thought about it, and I was like, well, do you see how long, Helm's Deep was? You see how long the Helm's Deep battle was, and really it was only like a couple chapters in the book. And I mean, so yeah, Peter Jackson, I think, can drag it out, and he probably will drag it out, but it'll probably be like an epic kind of scale. And so I didn't really mind the split. I didn't really mind with the split because they took it too much further. Then you really only have one big last battle at the end of the next one. And if you have just one big battle and then you just go home, then that's like an hour and a half movie right there. And as we all know, Peter Jackson doesn't do hour and a half long movies. This guy does 2.5, 3 hour long movies. I loved Benedict Cumberbatch as Smaug. Benedict Cumberbatch, the first thing I saw him in was Star Trek this past year. Killed it as Khan, and I really enjoyed his performance. And like, to me, Benedict Cumberbatch became like the ultimate bad guy after that. Like, there hasn't really been another guy that's been like a bad guy on screen that's killed it like he killed that role with Khan. And I think this was like a perfect cast for Smaug. I thought the dragon looked great. You know, yes, it was CGI and it was kind of a little bit cartoonish, but overall, like, I thought they did a really good job, like, with the CGI of Smaug. I thought he, you know, he looked great. He sounded great. I really liked how, and this is kind of weird, this is kind of like a little thing that I like, whenever he's about to spit the fire, like, his stomach starts glowing and it travels up. I think that's a cool little effect they added. As far as problems, there's kind of like few and far between. I guess some of this, like, I mean, I can't really find a problem with it. So, and that's just my overall feeling. Like, I really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed, you know, experiencing it. It definitely, you know, kind of took out the pacing problems of the first one. It was a little bit more fast-paced. There was more action to it. Things were moving along rapidly. The only thing bad I could say, really, was my experience at the movie theater. For some reason, everyone kept laughing at this film when stuff wasn't even funny. So I don't know if that's just because the audience maybe was just, like, too into it. Like, you know, movie theater audiences, they are what they are. The bigger the movie, the more annoying they're going to get just because they feel like they have to, you know, be in the movie. They have to laugh out loud every 25 seconds. They have to go, every time a shocking moment comes on screen that's not actually that shocking. It's like, you've read the book. You have to have read the book, you know. I do know that some people don't read the book, but a lot of people, I feel, have read the books of these series. You know what's going to happen. What are you getting shocked for? So that's probably the only bad thing, but I can't knock that against the movie because that's just a bad movie-going experience. And it kind of makes me like, I went to the midnight premiere of this. I did not get to see it in HFR, which I'm totally bummed about because I saw the first Hobbit in HFR, and I think the HFR is actually a pretty good idea. Like, it does take a second for your eyes to get used to it just because it is moving at 48 frames per second, you know, twice the speed that the human eye can perceive. But once you get used to it, the picture is crystal clear. It's like it's easily some of the best, like, you know, movie experience that you have as far as crystal clear images. The colors are better, so kind of bummed I didn't get to see it in HFR 3D. I could only see it in the regular 2D because for some reason AMC decided they didn't want to play HFR 3D or 3D for that fact, so we had to see it in regular 2D. But overall, I felt this was probably one of the more better movies of 2013 that I've seen. If I'm going to give this a score, I'm going to give it an A. Just because, you know, it's so fast-paced. The action sequences were awesome. The barrel riding sequence was amazing. The performances were solid out of everyone in the cast. And I also liked how they introduced Sauron, how they made Sauron the Eye. Like, that was just a cool sequence altogether. So, that is my thoughts and feelings on The Hobbit Part 2. And so, with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the movie. Are you excited for the third one? Did you like where they split it, if you've seen it? Were you able to see it in HFR 3D? And if so, how did you like it? Was this your first experience with the HFR, or did you already see the first one in HFR? And with that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here and go take care of some business. And as always, God bless y'all. I'm Joker777, and I'll see you guys later.